Hey, everybody. So tonight I am I don't even know what the hell I'm going to call this video, but I am looking to discuss whether I'm looking to discuss, whether or not Simon, one of the three personalities that the character Mary Hobbs displays in the movie Session 9, whether or not he was part of her psychosis or if he was real. Because he does, after all, like manipulate or infect Gordon, who is the one of the leads in the movie, and he motivates him to kill his family as well as the rest of the guys that he's working with. So I've never really been 100%. My gut, I was talking to my sister about it earlier, and she said that she always kind of got more of a demonic vibe from Simon as well, because he just seemed a little too advanced. He seemed a little too crafty and a little too focused, and it's like he knew his craft too well to just be the invention of a mentally ill person, which Mary Hobbs very clearly was, because in addition to Simon, there was the princess, and the princess lived in her tongue because the princess was always talking. And then there was the other character known as Billy, and he lived in Mary's eyes because he saw everything. And you don't find out where Simon lives until the very, very end of the film. It's actually the last words of dialogue spoken are the doctors asking where Simon lives. And we find out there, of course, that Simon lives in the weak and the wounded. Which again, it sounds a little more universal, and it sounds like it stretches out a little bit further than just one particular individual and their personal mental illness that they're dealing with. If Simon's living in the weak and the wounded, it sounds like he's eternal. And the reason that I always felt this way is because, again, he introduced himself to Gordon, like he did to Mary. He said, "Hello, Gordon." And as he tells the doctors towards the end of the film, he says it like, like, they always let me do it. Like, when I tell them to hurt people, the people that I tell to do that always hurt people. And so it sounds like Simon's been at this game for a long time, whereas the princess and Billy sound so specific to Mary's particular, I'm assuming, schizophrenia or something. I mean, it always seems we always signal out to schizophrenia, but it does sort of fit here. But that seems like that is the princess and Billy are hers and hers alone. And Simon just happened to be wandering around her neighborhood when he sensed that Mary was a little mentally ill, and he inserted himself into her mind, and he manipulated her into killing her family with her brother's incredibly sharp knife that he had just gotten for Christmas. So some people swear that no, it's just mental illness, and this movie was a pure and sort of like tragic look at mental illness. And other people, and I'm one of those other people, I felt that 2/3 of this movie could be seen as a tragic look at mental illness. But the character of Simon, he was definitely something, again, more eternal. And it seems like a place like Danvers would be a perfect breeding ground for him to find victim after victim after victim because of the amount of suffering that goes on in any mental institution. So yeah, that was it. I just wanted to make a video. If anybody out there, my God, if you have something to say one way or the other, put it in the comments, because I've always felt that Simon was a demon, but then hey, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was an invention of Mary's mental illness. I don't think so, but maybe. Don't forget to tell me how wrong I am in the comments. And yeah, I'm getting out of here. So like always, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little over 4 minutes while I discuss this really obscure thing from this well-known, well, sort of well-known, and well, maybe not so well known anymore. At one point, everybody was talking about Session 9, but that was like 15, 20 years ago. So unfortunately, I don't know if people remember this movie as well as they should. If you haven't seen Session 9, check out Session 9. That is one of the quietest and smartest and best shot horror movies of the past 2.5 decades. Was Simon real? I think so. I'm getting out of here. Have a good night or day or whatever. Got awkward again. Who cares?